There he is.
There he is. That's his only appearance for the night because I figured I'd get him out of the way early, but he's happy to be here.
He makes my day. He makes my day. He makes my heart go, what the kids say, a flutter.
He can't hold Paddington back. He will make appearances when he feels like making appearances here on the show. But so it is Sunday night. It is August 17th. It is 8:06 p.m. It is 100 million degrees here in Florida still at this hour. So I'm glad to be inside. No outdoor podcast tonight. It is too hot to be out there. But what is it by you? Are you still in the summer heat as well?
So yes, more humid, but not awful. But I'm that guy who I enjoy the heat. But it's getting darker earlier. You hear that breeze, and you're like, oh, here we go. Pumpkin spice is coming.
Yes, I'm ready for that. And I don't try to go overkill. Like I think, and let us know in the chat if when you're watching this, do you go overkill like I do in the first week? And like you go, the Little Debbie snacks, you look for everything pumpkin spice. Do you get pumpkin spice flavored coffee creamer, the coffee itself every time you go to a Starbucks? Let us know, because I'm a sucker for the first week or two, and then I try to kind of scale it back. But it feels like it earlier and earlier.
Because I was in Stop and Shop today, and he already got all the pumpkin spice stuff. Can I at least have my August? What happened to the dog days of August? Did we hit the dog days? Are we in the dog days? And if we are, give them their due.
Yeah,
I don't need to hear the words warm and cozy yet.
I think September, like after the holiday, like that, you wake up that morning, that should be fine. But August is still kind of like not quite there yet, because we have all of September and October and half of November. So I think, they get enough time, and it's also officially called spooky season now too. So
yes,
the earlier I do want to check out that movie that just came out last week that you had seen. Refresh my memory. What was that one called again?
Which one? Sketch?
No, it was a horror movie that came out.
Yeah. Weapons.
Yep. Okay.
Yes.
Yep,
Saw it twice.
Yep. So that's
today saw Nobody 2, by the way.
Yes. Nobody 2 is that was today you saw that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
That was, and now I've been noticing the main theater, one of the theaters by us, NCG Cinema, they're starting to do the Mystery Movie Monday, not the one by me, of course, like in different states and stuff. But so that is coming. Hopefully, that would be nice.
It's such fun.
One of our
really is.
One of our big movie theaters shut down, which is awful, called Cinema World. Was the first theater I went to when I moved here. It was beautiful. They kept renovating it. I think it was family owned, so I don't think they were doing too bad. I think they just wanted to move on and try a different venture. So that's a shame. We still have plenty of other theaters around. I just kind of always liked that one because it was the first one I went to.
No, yeah, you got memories. You have memories in there, absolutely.
Yeah, and that was, I think, the night that opened, the original Spider-Man came out. When I say original, I mean like in the
Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, Tobey Maguire. Yes. Yeah. So, but we are here tonight. We're going to talk whatever we want to talk about because it's our show. But but we're going to talk about the Mets are playing the Mariners tonight in the Little League World Series Championship venue there in Williamsport. We're going to talk about that, some baseball happenings as well. But before we do, our partner, Nashville Tax Solutions, let's find out about them.
Palm Bay and Fort Pierce, are tax problems weighing you down? You're behind on filings, facing a lien? Don't worry, because Nashville Tax Solutions is here with expertise and dedication that you need. Their experienced team handles the IRS so you don't have to. But don't just hear it from us. Clients do say it best, such as Chris Bennett and his team turned a nightmare into peace of mind. They're sharp, they're honest, and they truly care. So please, don't let tax stress take over your life. These are the dog days of August and the cusp of pumpkin spice. So don't worry. Don't let tax stress take over your life. Call 855-627-4829. Visit NashvilleTaxSolutions.com or email info@NashvilleTaxSolutions.com today. Nashville Tax Solutions, real help and real results.
Yes, and we were just talking offline, Christopher and I, and just kind of furthering our plans for the fall and things like that. So let's just say that there's a good chance of a really good giveaway on a future episode here in the next coming couple of weeks. Won't say too much more than that just yet, but let's just say that you're not going to want to miss an episode, that particular episode. I'll just put it that way. But I'll give out more on social media. I'll post some information about that to come. Tonight, though, as I mentioned at the top of the podcast, the Mets are playing the Mariners tonight, and what I was calling it yet another must-win for the Mets. I know that the Reds won today, and so this is the game I'm referring to, the MLB Little League Classic. Those are and you look at this picture here, and how good are the roster for Seattle Mariners this season. They're loaded, especially one.
They really are
in the lineup. Really are. They picked up some bangers at the trade dedeadline, so they're a tough out. It feels like you can't get Cal Raleigh out with the catcher for the Mariners. He just finds a way. 4 walks, 3 for 5 every day. It seems like he's doing something. So, but Darren's actually watching the game. I don't have ESPN, so I watch that really cool graphic that updates every 37 seconds, where it's the green dots and the red dots and the do you ever watch that? It drives me crazy, where it says in play, runs scored, in play, out recorded, or just in play. What does that mean? Did a run score?
I don't know.
Over it drives me crazy. So but that's I don't have ESPN, so
we all do that. And you know me, I do this because I just don't like the Apple TV. I don't particularly care. If it was on ESPN Plus, I would not be watching it. I like our people who do the games. So I do the same thing. I watch the dot. I watch this. I watch that. And every once in a while, whenever I'm doing it, I think it's 1938, and I'm listening to the radio and they're making it up as it goes along. Because they're reading from a tick tape. It's almost fake, but it's not. It's the game. They're just trying to figure it out for us.
Yeah, that's all you can do. And I, I'm not a big fan of the ESPN games anymore.
I hate it.
Better than the Apple TV. But talk about that a little bit. Why do we? And I've got some information I'll share a little while. But why do we not? Why are we not so much fans of the ESPN Sunday night game?
I can just speak for myself. There was a time when it was must-see television. It started with Monday Night Football, but even Monday Night Baseball or the game of the week on Saturdays. It's my team is getting national street cred. This is great. But that quickly changed to every team has to be on, sometimes more than others. And it is so opaque, meaning I want to hear my people talk about the stuff that they talk about. I am comfortable. The thing that baseball really is, it may be a national pastime, and I still believe it is to a lot of people, but it's very regional. It's much like college football that way, and it's I want to hear my guys talk about, well, this is what it's like when they're eating in Manhattan. This is what it's like when they come in late at LaGuardia and they can't eat at all. Here's what it's like when they lose their luggage. You don't get that especially on Apple TV. All you get is a bunch of commercials for the upcoming, Rawhide Season 6 starts on September 5th. I don't care. Okay, so if that makes any sense. Anyway, that's what I think.
That's what you think. Yep. And I think we have a score update alert as well, correct?
Yes, it is 1-0 with runners on second and third. And looks like no out. Yeah, 1-0 Mets.
Okay. Yeah, I think Alvarez did something according to my little game day line.
Yeah. So if I pass out, and please provide me some smelling salts, because Alvarez actually did something.
Yeah, he's I think he got some really good advice. He watched a lot of batters down there in AAA, and I think he's definitely on the right path.
Yes.
It seems like we see him in the lineup almost every day now. And so here's what I'm talking about. Right now on my end, it says in play, run recorded. Now that could have been an old one. I don't know if it's a little behind. It said in play. Yeah, right now it said in play run apostrophe S. So that could mean 1 run, 2 runs. I don't know.
Well, they sit right now, just so you know, and 1 run scores. So man on third. So now it's 2-0.
Now it's 2-0. Brett Beatty in there. I'm assuming. So is Vientos is at third, Beatty at second. That's interesting. Okay. McNeil in as DH. So interesting.
No,
so 2-0.
McNeil Beatty just hit a RBI single. Yep. And I was just about to say, what's with Beatty? This guy, he's got to step up.
Yeah, who are you like? If right now, August 17th, you have to bring up somebody else for whatever reason. Is it Beatty or is it Mauricio or is it Vientos that you would feel would benefit the most from a drop down?
The first two, Beatty and what's his name, Morenchos. He's got such a hole in his swing. He's
Vientos or
no. I would keep Vientos because I think he's going to come back with that magic. The other two, I would drop them both, or at least what's the name? The second gentleman.
Mauricio last night to me looked like it didn't matter. I shared this in the group too. Didn't matter if he had 100 at bats. He wasn't going to hit anything the way he was swinging yesterday.
No, I got a friend in from California who's a big San Francisco Giant fan. And so he doesn't know these guys like we do. And he's like, this guy has a hole in the swing. Oh, just got to swing, throw the pitch high. He can't hit it. And that's exactly what happened. All he can do is hit a mistake because if you know what you're doing with pitching, he can't hit it. He's got to go down.
Yep. And again, on my screen, breaking news, it says in play run apostrophe S again. So I don't know what that means. Okay. Sacrifice fly, Mark Vientos. Good job, little buddy.
Well, actually, that's ahead of me.
Oh, just
that's
kidding.
Ahead of me. No, I'm glad. That's good.
Yep.
Sacrifice fly. There it is. Yep. That's ahead of me. That's lovely. That's good. So it's funny too because I did a thing on an app last year about with football for the Jets, and depending upon your streaming service, what you use, I would be either 8 seconds ahead or 8 seconds behind most of everybody else who's watching me, and they're like, "What do you mean it's a touchdown pass? They just ran the ball. Your internet's slow, buddy. Or vice versa.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
now
that's a field goal.
This is my live look in right now. Something's off. I feel like there's a couple people on the field that are missing here, but that's
yes. They have no faith that he can even hit.
That's what I got. I mean, I appreciate they have the classic thing there. Not quite sure why it's Phillies and Nationals in the little photo. But
and on the other side, was that Twins behind his belt buckle, his belt? Is that the Twins?
Twins, yeah, I think so.
Crazy. Well,
but
literally my DirecTV just went out.
Oh,
waiting for the receiver signal. Good times, kids.
Knuckle curve. I do like Cedric Mullins batting ninth here. He struck out.
Me too.
I have to be honest. Like I felt like I'm not saying 4-3. I thought we would see more like a 5-2 split with Taylor. I'm not upset that Cedric's getting the opportunity there every day, but I am surprised that Taylor went from a guaranteed everyday guy to
and he could cover the outfield. I mean, I was surprised with that as well. He's buried.
Now we know Acuna got called up for today, right? It's just a one-day thing for because of the game that it is. But it's interesting because you get called up, but he might not even play, and then he goes right back down again. I don't know if that seems like a waste of a whatever, but it is what it is. But yeah, I agree with you on Vientos. I feel like I know by now he should come around, but when he started they sat him out 3 straight games. Like I think he would be someone who would benefit, bat him, 3 straight series, 9 straight games. If he goes 1 for 24, then okay, maybe we will, maybe whatever. But so inning ending, Francisco Lindor, ground ball, inning over. So okay, so 3-0.
back on
Top
now.
3. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
we'll take that.
Yep. So
Can we go more? Can a pitcher go more than 6 innings?
No, but that would be nice. But I really thought the success of the pitcher yesterday, like we were going to call up the other guy, like Brandon Sprout, like
Yeah.
man, like if as bad as the Mets look right now, if we can get even anything close to what he did yesterday, he can give up a run or two. That's okay. But as good as he did yesterday, like that's the rotation. Like that's when you can go playoff run and make a push. If you have a Peterson
100%.
one, that guy is your 3. If Senga could be 2, that guy is your 3, and then your 4 can be some sort of split between Holmes and what do you call it, Mania, maybe, like kind of, because both those guys seem like they can't go more than 4
It's
innings.
true. And by the way, remember Clay Holmes was an opening day starter. And he's got to go a little bit more. And by the way, I need more out of Senga. I know. I don't want to hear about this goofy palm balls, secret. Just can we go 6-7 innings, please?
He was so fire before the injury. Like he was legit. Like
yeah.
I could watch the game fast forward where the Mets were pitching and just watch their offense, and they're not going to give up a run. They're not going to give up a run. Now it's like they're going to, second time through, they're going to give up something.
Yep.
So, but on the baseball front though too, so on the heels, they're discussing a new relationship with ESPN. Nothing is 100% locked in, but they're still negotiating with NBC, Apple, Netflix for some different broadcasting packages. But I wasn't sure if you heard about this, but I heard that Netflix is become a possible destination for the home run derby. That would be interesting. A new set of eyes, perhaps. I'm not quite sure. I know they're definitely trying to get more into the live programming world, and so that would be a good start for them. But so yeah, Netflix getting involved here. I don't know if that's the only thing they were interested in, but it seems like that NBC, Peacock, or Apple TV are going to be the ones taking over the Sunday Night Baseball and the first round playoff game. So imagine though, if Apple TV took over the first round playoff games, can you like dub over with your own commentators? Because that doesn't.
I would just not watch. I would just keep. I watch most of my games now on silent anyway, unless it's the Mets broadcasters. So here's the deal. Seriously, Mets broadcasters are excellent. San Francisco Giant broadcasters are excellent. Excellent. And
yeah. Now speaking of broadcasters, let me ask you this question. So Keith earlier in the season made it very well known that he works 110 games, and it doesn't seem like he even does that many. It seems like he's not on there more than he is, but he says he does 110 and owe him a game because he did an extra game and all that kind of stuff. Is that something that he's had less of? Was it 5 years ago? Was he doing 162, or was he always kind of doing?
Oh no, they were always. I thought they would both. And for some reason, this resonates in my head. I believe they were all doing 120. I mean, both him and Ron were doing 123, 125. And Gary was doing them all. Gary doesn't do them all anymore. And they're down to about 110. And it makes sense, I guess. They're getting older and, the travel. I get that. Let me ask you this.
Yeah, it says Gary Cohen does 150 out of 162. So probably not including the Saturday night games and all that kind of stuff.
And doesn't he do the Roku games now?
He might. I'm not 100% sure.
I think he does. I think he does at least some of the Roku games. The Roku games start at 11 o'clock in the morning, which is so weird to me. That happens today.
That's an interesting time for sure.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. You saw it happen during COVID. If you want to keep these guys longer, right? Must they travel on the road? Can't they do the game from, it's not the same thing, but can't they do the game from the studio and watch the game like we are right now? It's weird, right? It's weird.
It's weird. So do you mean like like every road trip, or like something like this,
No,
like an
something like this. Like let's say, for example, they're getting older, right? And they can pick. Okay, here are 3 series during the course of a season where I'm not going on the road, but I'll do the games. You know,
Yeah, you really would think in 2025 that could be a thing.
right?
Because I know when WWE does tape broadcasts, a lot of times they'll have to do stuff from the studio. That's pretty common. So are we still top 3, right? I think. Yeah.
Top 3, 1 out. Yep.
Okay.
Man, I'm first.
Man on first. So also, in addition to the different packages and things like that, but so it says here in this article, and this is from quoting from a Yahoo article, Yahoo Sports article. After rekindling the relationship in June, ESPN could add weekly MLB games in addition to more of a daily digital presence. So they're looking at trying to potentially add some day games or weekday games. The problem to me is it's not so it's really just their Sports Center, their coverage is all NFL and NBA, and so that's where I have the problem with a lot of it, is that they get kicked to the curb and
So do I.
And so I don't know.
No,
that's
100% what I agree with that. I mean, if it's not about the Dallas Cowboys, it's about LeBron James or the New England Patriots, and that's it.
That's it. Yep. So, and the Milwaukee Brewers lost today. That's pretty. They made a run at the end, but they fell short to the Reds. So that's why the pressure's on here for the Mets, because I think it's back to a game right now. So a loss here drops them to half a game back. So it's very important that they keep their 1-game lead, that slim 1-game lead. Or the 1.5 games, I should say, if the Mets win today. But yeah, Brewers they went 14 in a row, and you look at that lineup, and you have to watch Brewer games to understand how that lineup is a recipe for success. Because at first glance, you're kind of like, I don't get it. Just same with you look at the Toronto Blue Jays lineup, you're like, I don't get it, but it just works,
The worry, if I were the Milwaukee Brewers, and you can't help this, you just got to keep plunging, moving ahead. I hope that for their sake, they're going to peak too early. I mean, somebody's going to get tired. Somebody's going to get run down. So you hope nobody gets injured, of course. But the Chicago Cubs have been struggling for a while. But they're going to turn it on. Milwaukee is going to be a tough out, and Milwaukee, it's got the rise on the Mets because they beat the Mets, earlier this year, and they're still angry about what happened last year in the playoffs.
Last year, yeah, they really were, and it's a shame. One thing I definitely can say, it's a shame that they're doing this after Bob Uecker's passing. It would have been nice to hear him to have but I mean, he did get to the playoffs, and they, it looked like they were going to continue to move on, and they fell short because of Alonso's late inning heroics there. But Brewers have been playing amazing. Their record is unbelievable with what they're doing. So I want to ask you your thoughts here on I'm going to share my screen here, or my post here, in just a minute. But the NL wild card. So you're starting to kind of see, okay, which teams are completely have no chance whatsoever to get there, and all that kind of stuff. But then you have some teams that are kind of lingering and hanging around just long enough. But so I'm going to share this here. Where'd you go? Right here. So looking at this here, so right now the Cubs, Padres, and Mets are holding on to those spots. The Cubs and Padres are a little bit more secure there, but the Cardinals are in 5 games back. They've lost 5 in a row. They got swept by the Yankees. That's tough to get swept by the Yankees the way the Yankees were playing. Yep. Giants have lost 7 out of their last 10. Diamondbacks have played better lately, but they've just lost 3 straight. And the Marlins had a little bit of a push, but now they've lost 7 out of their last 10. So even though the Mets, this in my opinion is a must win for them, there's a lot of outside of the Reds. So if they can separate themselves from the Reds, that's the key here, because a lot of these other teams seem to be a little bit too far out of it. And hi, Emily. Good to see you on here. I appreciate you jumping on. We are talking. The Mets are playing the Mariners tonight on ESPN, so we're kind of watching that game alongside, talking some baseball as well. But cheering on the Mets. They need to win tonight. So
Yep.
That's what we're doing. But it's glad to see you. Hopefully, I see you out on Tuesday at the softball field, and we don't get rained out again this Tuesday. With 6:30 and 8:30. So if you do make it out, we have the split game that night. But yeah, so your thoughts on when it's all said and done, whether it be in replace of the Mets, is there any team there, Reds, Cardinals, Giants, Diamondbacks, Marlins, that's going to sneak into the playoffs, or do you feel like things will work themselves out, and who you see in there now is who's going to be in there?
For whatever reason, at least over the last couple of years, Diamondbacks always end the season strong. They're on a come, and so you got to worry about them, because that's a tight team. They've done it before. They made it all the way to the World Series a couple of years ago. In a year, it looked like they weren't even going to make the playoffs. So they worry me. The Reds, I'm not throwing them to the wayside, because they might be able to do something, but until they do it, they haven't done it before. But, you got to worry about all the teams, especially when you struggle as much as the pitching has.
Yep.
The Mets are in. Look, I still want the division. So now who can sneak in? I still say the Diamondbacks can sneak in. I would say this: the Diamondbacks can sneak in, and somebody above the Mets can get knocked out.
Somebody above, yeah. So, well, yeah, and I think if a team were to get knocked out above the Mets, I would be surprised, but it could happen. I would be,
Well, what's his name? Zach Wheeler he's got a blood clot.
Yeah. Yep. So who knows what that's going to mean in terms of.
Well, that's 5, 6 games the Mets can make up quickly, and if that happens, the Phillies could be knocked out. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. Of course, the Mets, Phillies are going to be playing each other pretty soon, but you mentioned the Diamondbacks are going to be playing the Reds pretty soon as well. So that'll be a big series for both of them. It's kind of like a knockout series,
Yeah, I think the Diamondbacks are going to crush the Reds. I do.
Could happen.
I hope I'm wrong, but hope that they both win one, lose one, win one, lose one. That would be wonderful.
You know who's playing good ball? I hate to say it, the Braves are playing a lot better.
Yeah, they're playing a lot better.
They're still like 9 back though in the wild card, so that's they're not even on the screen here. But if they were playing like this, so Kevin is here with us. So Kevin, I want to talk to you about the Cleveland Guardians real quick since you jumped on. So we were talking about, and I'm going to share my screen again here in just a second, and we're going to talk specifically about the Guardians because they are playing really good baseball right now.
They really are.
So I want to show the American League wild card race because we spent some time with the National League one. So I want to share this. So let me get this on the screen because this is another race that could go either way. Now the Yankees just swept the Cardinals, so they separated themselves a little bit there. But the Guardians have been playing good ball as well. And here we go. So the Cleveland Guardians right now are 3.5 back in the wild card race. They were a lot closer before this last series. So unfortunately, they were half a game back, but now they've lost 3 and the Yankees have swept 3. So now the Guardians are 3.5 back of that last wild card spot behind the Yankees. The Royals, as you see there, 7 out of their last 10 were wins. They're playing much, much better. Texas has fallen apart a little bit. The Rays are as average as you can possibly be. And the Angels, they gave you false hope, and then they kind of lose a bunch straight. So even though the Guardians are 3.5 back, and it looks like a scary number, that would be the team for me that can definitely make a push to make the playoffs. I don't know who they would catch. Boston's playing really good. Yankees, I feel like that might be the team they would catch. That would be something if Yankees beat the Guardians to go to the World Series last year and the Guardians knocked the Yankees out of the playoffs at all this year. That would be interesting. Do you agree, Darren? Do you think the Guardians can get in? Or do you think the teams that we got are going to be the teams that are still standing?
The Guardians will get in. The Guardians will get in. Yep.
So if the Guardians get in, who is kicking it to the curb at this point? It's tough. Like,
yeah. Who are the three?
So you mean that
we got Boston, we got Yankees. Who else is in the wild card hunt right now? Who's in the wild card? Right
yeah, so the wild card hunt for the American League. Obviously, the Blue Jays are winning the division, so you have the Red Sox, you have the Yankees, and you have the Mariners. So the Mariners are at the top in the one spot, then the Red Sox 2, and then
Red Sox will fall out.
Red Sox will fall out. Yeah,
and as a Met fan, I would say right now, I got to tell you something with the Red Sox. The Red Sox have no quit in them. I hate to say it, I'm changing. Yankees are not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, especially with Jazz Chisholm batting cleanup. I'm not sure what's going on there. Emily says, "Go Philadelphia." So Emily, I know you're make sure I get this right. You're a Steelers fan in the NFL, but are you a Philadelphia Philly fan in Major League Baseball? So if you're a fan of Philadelphia in baseball, you're not in football, you're not an Eagles fan. So let us know in the chat. What's your baseball team and what's your football team? I think I got it right. I think you're a Phillies fan for baseball and a Steeler fan for football. So
Yankees have trouble winning at home. Yankees can't win at home.
Can't win at home, and they can't stay consistent. Now, 3-game win streak against the Cardinals, who are kind of tanking off a little bit. That doesn't mean too much. There's going to be some big games down the stretch for the Yankees. Let's see. So they play in Tampa. The next series is in Tampa. So they can show what they're made of and really knock the Rays completely out of this thing, or they can lose to the Rays in their own home minor league stadium, and then who knows what's going to happen. So that's an interesting series coming up. But for the Yankees, though, they've got the Rays and then the Red Sox back to back. So that'll be interesting to see who goes. And Emily says Steelers. Okay. Yep. So she is a Steelers fan. Speaking of football, though, I'm just saying that the giveaway that I was talking about earlier might be football related. So that'll be my second clue. But we'll keep you posted. So if you weren't on at the start of this, Kevin and Emily, there's a special mystery prize that's going to be coming up to our listeners here in the next couple of weeks. So we'll let you know exactly what it is and when that's going to be, all that kind of stuff as we get the details. So keep you posted. But the Mets right now, it looks like they are bottom 3 or
bottom of the third, 3-0. Pete Alonso up to that.
At
least on my screen.
Yeah. Pete Alonso walked. And,
all right. There you go.
Juan Soto to second. So I'd like to see a stolen base here because they're one away from the major league record, right? Of most steals ever without being caught in a row. Something like that. Yep. So
who would have thought that would be the Mets?
Yeah. I know, of all teams. Let me see. Did they get any tonight yet? No, I don't think any. Let me see. Oh no. I guess that broke. It does say CS caught stealing Lindor in the third by Kirby Raleigh. So I think that is over. So close, but that's okay. But yeah, so we are. So another thing, Darren, I wanted to talk to you about is I always love these route games because, like, when you're in a baseball game that's a route, like, seems like the worst thing in this team. But it's really just sometimes managers prefer to get routed and just come back the next day rather than lose a close one. Like, for example, the Orioles 12-0 win over the Astros, but they're not going to sniff the playoffs. The Astros will. So it doesn't really mean too much. But did you see a little bit of that Blue Jays Rangers game with the Rowdy Tellez pitching? It felt like 32 miles per hour throwing meatballs up there.
I think that is I don't like that. I understand why you got to put a position player in, but when you're throwing 32 miles an hour, it's just, what are we, the Savannah Bananas? Don't do that,
Yeah.
Show a little respect to the game. Now, here's the thing. We've all played ball. This is when the umpire says, listen, I'm expanding the strike zone. Anything close, I'm calling a strike. Let's swing. And that's what you do. Now, granted, you should go out there and try to get your hits, right? And you shouldn't just give away outs, but move the game along. It's no different than anything else. You don't want people getting hurt. You don't want people getting injured. You got to play the game. You can't just forfeit the game. But when you put in a guy throwing 32 miles an hour, it just doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah, there's something wrong with that for sure. But I mean, it's a good laugh. Like, but then you realize, wait a minute, like this is not a spring training game. This game counts. And so then you're like, okay, I don't know. But at the moment, like it's a cool little viral moment to see, those kinds of things, of course. But what do you call it? Yeah. But yeah, so those routes happen pretty often this year. It's
and listen, if you're down 8 runs, then listen, we saw the other night, team came back from 8 runs. But if you know your team's not coming back, I'm all for just, like putting your sub, and just call it a day. You just pick the guy from the back of the bullpen, have him pitch 7 innings, get the game over with.
Yep. Speaking of one-sided affairs or blowouts and that sort of thing, have you ever heard, so just touching base for a second on the wrestling front, have you ever heard of a wrestler named Omos? Probably not, because
No.
This is a guy from Nigeria. He was in the minor league system for a while. He got called up, did some stuff, but he just kind of went away for almost 2 years. He just did like special appearances and stuff. This guy, I think, let me see, Omos height, Omos height, WWE. Okay, 7'3". He looks like he's 10'6".
Wow.
This guy's a beast, right? So anyway, so he has been nowhere to be heard from in forever. So WWE purchased the AAA brand in Mexico, and so they had their big pay-per-view event last night called Triple Mania. So they did this like Battle Royal Rumble kind of thing, and this little guy comes to the ring. His name is Micro Man. Okay, so Micro Man comes to the ring, and apparently he is a big deal in Mexico. He's a tiny little guy, but he does his thing. He looks even shorter than some of the people that do like micro wrestling. Like he's even shorter. And I know you went to a show recently.
Yes.
So I'll show you a quick photo of him so you can get a visual here. So this is Micro Man. So tiny little guy, doesn't even go above the second turnbuckle. So as Micro Man comes to the ring, they have one more person to come to the ring. And who is it? It's Omos, the 7'3" monster. So this viral moment from the show last night. So they have a scene where Omos feels like someone hit him from behind. He's looking everywhere, doesn't see it. Then he looks down and sees little Micro Man down there, and it was a great viral moment. But as good as that was, this one took the cake. So of course, some stuff goes down there, and then needless to say, we wound up with this last moment here of Omos holding up little Micro Man, and he went a fly-in. Let's just say that. So that was awesome to see 7'3" and probably 1'7". I don't know how tall he was, but just had to share that. That was pretty fun. So they did it for free on YouTube, which is cool. They showed it on.
That's great.
Right to the AAA Mexico, and then now they show it on YouTube for free, which is cool. So,
that's very cool. So I went to a micro wrestling a couple of weeks ago, and my daughter was involved. I think I told you, right?
Yeah, I heard she did very well. Yep,
she did. Yeah, she did very well, and like she was saying, it's wonderful. These are wonderful athletes, and who deserve their shot at doing what they do, and they love what they do, and it was sold out. It was just a great event.
Yep. So it was, definitely a good time.
So let me ask you about, could we ask you another, since we're just kind of talking about wrestling right now? And I was thinking about this the other day. One of my favorite wrestlers who was really made an impression on me, I liked him for a while, he was a bodybuilder as well, was Tony Atlas. Whatever happened to him?
Tony Atlas. So he it was funny because he was, he did his thing and then he kind of went away and then they brought him back randomly and all he did was this like laugh, like this, this just really,
Right.
really bad laugh. And he was just kind of there and then he just kind of went away again. And he just randomly will show up from time to time with that laugh, but that's really it. So he's pretty much out of the business now. He's still married, I think 71 years old, something like that.
Wow.
He's still doing fine. He just doesn't really appear as much. He comes to a couple events and just kind of goes to the back and stuff. So you don't see a lot of him. But he still does his thing every once in a while. You'll see him. He is a Hall of Famer. He was inducted back in 2006. So, he was, former bodybuilder, world tag team champion, and of course,
I used to love to watch him. He would be like wrestling, WRAS, and
yes.
he was fun to watch. You never thought he was going to win the overall title, but he was always a good watch. He's fighting Gorilla Monsoon, fighting some of these others, and because he is a big guy.
Yeah. Yep. And then of course with the death of Hulk Hogan recently, there's a stat there that Mr. T is now the only living participant from WrestleMania 1 in terms of the main event scene. There's still a few people still alive in some of the undercard matches, but in that tag team match was Hogan and Mr. T against Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff. Yeah, he is the only one living at this time, so that's pretty crazy. But
I saw an interview with Ted DiBiase recently. Seriously, and he had some wonderful. And he didn't break character, but he broke character. If you know what I mean, he had some wonderful things to say about Hulk Hogan.
I saw that actually. I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep, it was wonderful to watch.
Yeah. Yep. He
which is people don't realize like these people play roles and nobody's perfect, but he was a very giving person. He helped people's careers, and you do this for me, I'll make sure we do it for you, and he never forgot. Which is, it's important.
Yeah, and this year, what do you call it? And this year too is the big. Just last thing I want to mention on the thing, with John Cena now with WWE, his last few dates are coming up. He's only got 9 dates left before he calls it a career. So they're calling it like the last year, like the last time is now and stuff. So definitely, if you get an opportunity to see him live, this would be the time to do it because in December he will be going away. Macho Man. So great question, Emily. So Macho Man was passed away of a heart attack while driving in his vehicle. Actually, I believe it was. And I forget when that was. Let me see. But it was. Wanted to say it was a 2011. Yep. So he was in Seminole, Florida, after suffering a heart attack while driving his Jeep. So he veered off the road and struck a T. So he was 58 years old at the time. He, a lot of people when you think wrestling, you think Hulk Hogan, you think Macho Man. He didn't have. What's crazy is he left the WWE like in '93. Like, so you think of him as this guy who was around for so long. Like after '93, he really never came back again. And he thankfully, unfortunately, after his passing, but he did make it to the Hall of Fame eventually once the old regime got out of there. But unfortunately, Emily, he passed. And Ultimate Warrior was crazy because I literally went to New Orleans and he was inducted in the Hall of Fame. And then the next morning he passed away. The very next morning, it was like, wow. So, so we are kind of keeping tabs on while we're here live on that Mariners game. Unfortunately, the Mariners just scored a run, so it is now 3-1 Mets over the Mariners here in the top of the fourth. Usually the fourth
right up the middle. Oh man, that went right through. It went right through Lindor's glove.
Oh, really?
Right through Lindor's glove.
That's sad. This is usually when Clay Holmes starts to struggle, but that sounds like an error here. So
it's really going to depend on the official score. He jumped a little too soon, so it just tipped off his glove. But he should have got that ball.
Yeah, definitely should have. Just a quick plug while we're here, guys, just to make sure you guys are aware of a couple things coming up for the channel as well. Of course, we'll be live here Thursday. We have a very special guest. We're going to be starting to have some football content as well now with football season starting. I'll be going on Sunday, September 6th to the UCF game in Orlando. That'll be a lot of fun. So I'll be live. I'll go live from there and do a little video from that venue. So that'll be a lot of fun in Orlando. So that is to come as well. Keep an eye out again, of course, just, seems like it's a long time away, but as you know, December will come quickly. Christmas will come quickly. So the Around the Ballpark podcast will be part of the Palm Bay Christmas Parade this year with Christopher Bennett and the Natural Tax Solutions team. We'll be partnering up with the Around the Ballpark podcast during the parade. That's going to be awesome. And then, of course, on December the 20th, the Family Christmas Extravaganza, you will see the booth out there for the Around the Ballpark podcast. There will be a dunk tank. There will be a Darren Redmond. There will be a me. And there will be Eileen at the table as well. And we're going to have so much fun, basically dunking people and giving out some cool prizes to the guys that are coming by. You have to subscribe to the channel to be able to get to play. So that is the catch for sure. So some cool stuff on the horizon. We've been invited out to several different events in September as well, the channel. So we'll be live at those. So we'll be sharing some content from those venues as well. So a lot of cool stuff in the pipeline. But definitely, please, the best way to get this to continue to grow is to share, is to like, is to subscribe. Turn those notifications on so that we try to post on social media when we're going to go live. But please turn those notifications on so your phone will tell you for you, or your TV will tell you for you that we're live. That is the best way for sure. And Darren, too, we're going to talk. Actually, not. You're going to see a video here tomorrow. Actually, that goes. It's a recording that's going to be going up tomorrow about Mike Tyson. That's going to be a lot of fun to talk about the career of Mike Tyson. A very interesting career that kind of goes all over the place.
Very, very much. Yep.
Those of you hopefully that watched the Nolan Ryan episode learned a lot there in terms of his career. So we're going to dive into Mike Tyson. So you want to make sure you check that out. That'll be posted sometime tomorrow. Yes, let's dunk Kevin. So Emily, the thought is that I want to create a dunk team. I've already talked to Rob. I'd like to have like a 3 to 4 person dunk team in addition to Darren coming down, where that way they could sign up as a volunteer for the dunk tank, and then they can kind of rotate in there and stuff. And it should still be decent weather in December. But yeah, it's Kevin's game. I know I can't be because I'll be running around doing everything else, but I'll definitely be by there as much as I can, of course. But I'm just excited to see how the channel can grow that day. We're looking at some flyers and some things that we can give away and stuff like that. So super cool. So that is coming. So yeah, let us know, Kevin, if you're into being dunked, but I'm sure you'll be doing other stuff that day too. So
my question, one other question about a wrestler. Are you still taking questions?
I am still taking questions. Yes.
All right. Here's another one. I heard he got injured, and because he was like a real big second level guy. Brutus the Barber Beefcake. I know he's still around in Florida right now, but whatever happened to him? He was big for a little bit.
So Brutus the Barber Beefcake. So he had a storied career, never won the world title or anything like that. He was always, Hall of Famer, all that kind of stuff. He's a guy that really made his career on going to, after he stopped wrestling in the 90s, he's going to all the different conventions. And that's really how all professional wrestlers, you get money to go to, because when you see convention, you think, ooh, it's $50 to go in. Yeah, it's $50 to get in the door, but then you still got to pay separate for whoever's picture you want or autograph you want and all that kind of stuff. So really, that's all he's been doing, is been going to these different convention centers and wrestling conventions and just signing autographs. They put his name on the marquee. Looks nothing like the photo that they promote because that was from the 80s. My worst Brutus Beefcake moment, he came to Palm Bay and they had the main event.
Hold on, the fact that you have a Brutus Beefcake moment is awesome to me.
Yes, it is awesome. You'll love this quick story. So at the Palm Bay Community Center, they had WWE, or not WWE. They had an off-brand Florida company that came to the show, and it was billed as 6 championship matches. There were 0, but so it was 6 championship matches. And in the main event, it was a barbed wire match between Brutus the Barber Beefcake and Greg the Hammer Valentine. Okay, we'll get that. Yeah, so we'll get to that classic in a second. So the first match, I forget whoever, but the guy's name was the Tank. And the Tank was this big 300-pound dude with a tattoo on his right arm. I don't remember what it was, but big beast, right? So he loses. Okay. Match number 2. The first guy comes to the ring. He's a fan favorite. He's cheering everybody on, all that kind of stuff. And then his opponent comes to the ring. I think his name was the Exterminator. Big dude. Problem was his different outfit for the Exterminator didn't cover the tattoo on his right arm. That was clearly the guy who was the Tank in the first match.
Right.
So, and then come to find out in the second to last match, he wrestled as one of the Assassins as a tag team. Again, tattoo exposed.
Triple duty. He's doing triple duty that night.
Triple duty that night. So you get to the main event with that, and of course, number 1, it's not barbed wire; it's bobbed wire. It's basically there's nothing sharp to it. They took like 27 minutes to set these things up. These barbed wire ropes, right? They never touched the bar. Like they never even got thrown to the ropes. Like they wrestled like this 6-minute match in the center of the ring.
They were dancing in the middle of the ring.
Never went anywhere near the barbed wire. So nobody got cut, nobody got hurt, nobody got tossed into it. It was just you had to watch them wrestle between the barbed wire, but they didn't use any of it in the entire matchup. So that was my Beefcake's experience, and he looked upset, but he shouldn't have been wrestling in that match anyway. He was, at the time, I think it was early 2000s, maybe late 1999, 97. He should have been in the ring. But yeah, so that's he's still. Oh, so and then more recent, he had an epic fail. Him and his wife attended the Hulk Hogan memorial and got kicked out of the festivities. I guess his wife said something inappropriate, and they got kicked out of the funeral. So he's doing good, but he made a big mistake there and got kicked out. You don't want to put getting kicked out of funeral on the
no, getting kicked out of Hulk Hogan's funeral is not something you want to be getting known for.
No, definitely not.
Mets got out of it. It was a bases loaded, by the way, and the Mets got out of it. Good.
They got out of it. Okay. Yeah, it was sitting there. I was Cole Young was up, and I was like, okay, at least it's Cole Young and not anybody else on that roster,
right?
Because they have, that Canzone. Every time I see Canzone, I'm in the mood for a calzone. Like he's that just name recognition. But thank you guys so much. I can't believe it's been an hour already. So thank you guys so much for joining us tonight as we kind of kept an eye on that Mets Mariners game. Like Darren said, we are now in the bottom of the 4th inning, 3-1 Mets. So hopefully we'll continue to watch offline here. But thank you so much for making us a part of your Sunday evening. Make sure you turn your notifications on. Like I said earlier, because we're always here each and every Sunday. If we're not, we will let you know in advance. But until tomorrow's video on Mike Tyson, we will see you then. And then, of course, again, this Thursday evening on the podcast as well. Darren, hope you have a great rest of your night. And we will talk very, very soon. And everybody else, we'll see you around the ballpark.